I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through.
You know, I remember seeing Goku transform into a Super Saiyan for the first time. It blew my mind. It was and still is the most iconic and influential anime transformation of all time. It started the trend of making every hero have a new transformation, which I actually like, because it's just badass. I don't have a deep reason for it, transformations just look cool to me. But you wanna know something that always kinda bothered me? When Goku turned into Super Saiyan, he get a power boost, one that is completely independent from his skill as a fighter. It's like unlocking a new power in a video game. It have metaphorical meaning, but in universe it feel like he was just getting a blue shell in Mario Kart. You were losing because of your lack of skill, so here's the world give you the win. It's pretty much the same for most forms in anime. The character just reach a point where they become stronger because reason. Naruto, it's his demon powering him up. Natsu is a demon. Luffy, it's an evolution of his devil fruit. Some of them are meaningful representation of a character arc reaching its climax, some are just power up, but all of them are character reaching a power that they never could have before and never could if the world didn't just magically give it to them. Which is why my personal favorite anime transformation is really different. Because unlike other forms, it don't just allude to the end of a character arc on a metaphoric level, it literally is on a literal level a extremely important form for the character. One that isn't given by the world like a video game comeback mechanic. And I know that by the thumbnail and title, you already know what transformation I'm talking about. And you might even be angry, confused, or just baffled by my choice. The form that I'm talking about is the infamous, controversial, clear heart cloning form of Erza Scarlet from Fairy Tail, also dubbed the plot armor by people who clown on Fairy Tail. This form is without a doubt my favorite and the most thought-provoking anime transformation for me. Because this form is not a simple power boost, a blue shell given by the god, it's much more complex than that. Erza doesn't get any new power in this form. Hell, if anything, this form is more of a double-edged sword than a simple power boost, which is why it was dismissed as bad by a lot of anime fans, but in my opinion, this couldn't be further from the truth. Erza is someone who lived a hard life ever since her childhood, being an orphan and a slave for years, doing her best to live the happiest she could considering her circumstance. She eventually managed to break free from her prison only to be betrayed by her best friend at the time, leaving her deeply scarred, leading her to live with this trauma that turned into an armor she hides in fear of being hurt again, and this ultimately lead her to self-doubt in her own ability, making her psychological fear to get hurt a physical one, trading one prison for another. Erza then focused her entire fighting style around transformation and armor, using a ton of armor as clutch to win her battle. But while her style is focused on armor, her training is that of a swordswoman. She is training every day to become better and better, swords in hand to become the strongest swordswoman in the world. Only to spend her life relying on armor and power boost, only to be stuck in the heavy armor of magic, steel, and self-doubt. Which is why this form is so important and meaningful. It's the moment she realized that her armor are the result of her fear of getting hurt, of letting people in. But it's also the moment Erza realized her own worth, that she should trust in her own ability and her own skill. So the person, the anime character that focused her entire fighting style around transformation, around power up, powers down. Focusing all her magic into her sword, leaving her vulnerable, leaving her only reliant on her fighting ability. Her blades might hit harder, but her sword skill are her own. After all, a blade is nothing more than a sharp piece of metal on its own. Letting her own ability as a swordswoman shine, and now that she stopped doubting herself, she can easily defeat a much weaker swordswoman in one hit by putting all her magic and her trust in her sword skill. Because yes, Erza was stronger, it's not a matter of plot armor or power friendship here. This form might not make her stronger, but it's one that helped her open up to her own ability, by pushing her to rely on her true strength as a swordswoman. You see, while most, if not all shonen transformation focus on magically making the character physically stronger, this one focus on making Erza mentally and emotionally stronger. It's a form that makes an already strong character, one that trained all her life understand that her abilities are enough. And this is a really powerful lesson, much more than being born an alien, eating a magical fruit, or being the host of a magical beast. Because most of us, all of us, are hiding under an armor, hiding part of who we are that we find not good enough, in fear of getting hurt, afraid to be rejected, that who we are is not worth it. But this part of us we are hiding behind self-doubt is part of who we are. And we can't just magically transform into someone else, someone magically more powerful. All we can do is understand our own worth and trust in our own ability. Trust that we are, as a person, enough. Trust in our swords more than our armor and slash our way through life until we find who we're meant to be. And the people we will trust along the way. So no, this is not the plot armor. In this form, she might not be Super Erza, Erza Gear 5, or Ethereus Erza Scarlet. She is Erza. And that's enough. You're enough. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and now tell me what is your favorite anime transformation and why. And subscribe, like, and comment to help the channel, and don't forget to check out our other stuff. With that said, peace out.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Too many things going on, I can't keep track of them all. From people dropping